Hunters love talking about patterning whitetails. Why? Because when you nail a deer's patterns, you're in the game. You stand a chance. Now, as we've covered before, patterning is not nailing every single aspect of that whitetail's life. I think maybe I've done it one single time. I know at least 50 different cases of bucks being on TV that were patterned that was 100% pure baloney. I know because I was consulting for the various outfitters these TV crews were hunting with. When you see most, not all, but the overwhelming majority of hunts on television, the overwhelming majority of those hunts are with outfitters that have traded that hunt for free publicity in return. And what ends up happening, quite honestly, not with all of them, but with a whole bunch, is that they save their best spots for these free hunts for the celebrities. Why? Because if that celebrity comes and shoots a 120-inch buck, well, nobody's but going ahead and booking a hunt with that outfitter. I just go ahead and explain that to you so you have data, so you can, when you're watching these hunts, including my own, now I don't personally hunt with outfitters, but at the same time, you never see me out there filming the public ground hunts I do. Why? It takes me an average of 2.5 to 3 years to fill one tag on the public ground I hunt on a buck that's 3.5 years or older. I am not trying to push anybody to shoot anything. That's me. That's what the public ground I hunt, that is my minimum. I want a 3.5-year-old buck. 3 years. One every 3 years. I'm not dragging my camera equipment out there to try to film myself doing this, and I'm sure not bringing out a camera guy because I got a tough enough time trying to remain as undetected as I humanly possibly can in these scenarios. And really what I'm getting at in all of this is be very, very, very selective on what you believe that you see on TV, that you see posted on the internet, and quite honestly, what you even see in magazines. A lot of it's baloney. The sad reality is that television, the show here, the magazines, all this stuff, we have to have sponsors. I've been exceptionally lucky. For whatever reason, you all threw me on your shoulders and carried me to the dance. I had a great day job. There wasn't a lot of pressure. So, hey, if this didn't work out for me, big deal. I've got a really good day job. Quite honestly, thanks to you all, it did. But because I had a real day job, I was able to be far more selective than most. Most people can't. You have to use whatever products that are willing to pay to sponsor your show. Really, really be cynical when it comes to this type of stuff. There are great products out there. There sincerely are. But not every single product, not every single technique, not every single method and new idea is going to work. The overwhelming majority of them won't because they're trying to sell you stuff. Use this right here. By far your most powerful weapon. You can get upset about it if you want, but that's the way the industry has to work. Otherwise, people can't stand here and do stuff like this. But every single situation, I don't care who it is, whether it's me telling you something or somebody else out there, always ask yourself, does this pass the common sense test? Will this work in my environment? Will this work with my resident deer herd? If yes to all three of those questions, then go ahead and, for example, with the hinge cut a 1/4 acre. Start in moderation. Do a little bit here, test it, see what it goes, see what the results are. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so next year I'll do a little bit more. Common sense moderations are your keys because everybody out here today, and it's not just the hunting world, it's every aspect of life. Everybody's trying to sell you something. Use the common sense test. Ask yourself if this has a chance of applying to my deer, my environment, me. Yes to all those questions, and you know what? It's worth a try. But do it in moderation.
Final thoughts brought to you by Huntworth.
Almost every single expert out there is trying to sell you on something. They have to. We have to. Because we have sponsors for our stuff. Most people in this industry actually were under an incredible amount of pressure to start with. Thankfully, I wasn't under anywhere near as much. But even I have sponsors. I went ahead and selected the companies that I honestly, no BS, would be purchasing myself. Now, that said, the overwhelming majority can't do that. Okay. So, when they're trying to sell you a new technique, when they're trying to sell you a new product, when they're trying to sell you on how dang smart they are, just simply ask yourself, does this pass the common sense test? Do I believe it could potentially work on my resident deer? Do I believe that it will work with my skill set? If the answer to all three of those questions are yes, then do it a little bit in moderation and go from there.